You know how some of the simplest phrases, the ones we hear all the time, can hide some of the deepest wisdom? It's like they're little codes just waiting for someone to unlock them. Well, today, we're going to crack one of those codes right open.
You've probably heard a version of this before, right? It sounds simple enough, a classic piece of wisdom, kind of like actions speak louder than words. But what if I told you that's just scratching the surface? That in its original language, this simple saying transforms into a precise, powerful framework.
Yeah, exactly. What if this isn't just a simple observation, but a detailed, multi-layered guide for evaluating character itself? Let's dive in and see what's really hidden inside these words.
So, to really get to the bottom of this, we need to peel back the layers and look at the original Hebrew. This is where we're going to find the hidden mechanics of how character is actually revealed. And hey, don't worry if this just looks like a bunch of symbols. We're going to break it all down together word by word. You'll see, each piece holds a clue to a much, much richer meaning than the simple translation we all know. All right, let's get into it. The very first piece of this puzzle answers a really fundamental question. Who exactly are we talking about here, and what's the basis for judging them? It all kicks off with just two small but incredibly powerful words. And right from the get-go, they set the stage for a principle that is absolutely universal. So that first word is gum. Now, you might translate it as also, but here it's way more emphatic. Think of it as meaning even. The author's doing this on purpose. They're stretching the scope to make it crystal clear that nobody gets a free pass on this rule. And who is this emphatic even aimed at? A nar, a child, a youth. And honestly, this is just a brilliant move, because by picking the one person we might be tempted to give a pass to, the proverb makes its point impossible to argue with. If this standard applies to a kid, it applies to everybody. Okay, so the rule is for everyone. Got it. But what are we measuring against? Well, this next word, alalav, is the key. It totally shifts our focus from who is being judged to how they're being judged. So let's crack this one open. The first little part, be, means by or in. Simple enough. But alal, that's not just a single action. It means deeds, plural. It implies a whole pattern of behavior over time. And that's the absolute heart of it. We're not judging someone on their potential or what they say they'll do. We're looking at the solid, accumulated evidence of what they've actually done. And this brings us to a really subtle but I think profound idea in this proverb. It suggests that character isn't something we just decide to assign to someone. It's something that, well, it reveals itself naturally. And the word that really unlocks this idea? It's yitnaker. This is the verb that tells us how someone is known. Okay, the grammar here is actually super interesting. It's a reflexive verb. So it's not just that someone is known by other people looking at them. It's more like they make themselves known. It's almost an active process on their part. Through their repeated actions, their true character just kind of emerges. We don't have to force a judgment. We just have to be paying attention. Okay, so a person's actions reveal who they are. Makes sense. But how do we measure those actions? I mean, what's the rubric? Well, the proverb doesn't leave us hanging. It gives us two incredibly precise standards, an inner test and an outer one. And these two little words, im and vim, they basically set up a checklist. Think of them as if and end if. They lay out two conditions, and this is so important, both have to be met. This is not an either-or deal. And here they are, the two tests. On one hand, you've got zak, which means pure. This is the inner axis, right? It's asking, are the motives clean? Is the intention sincere? But, and this is a big but, that's not enough on its own. On the other hand, you have yashar, meaning right. This is the outer axis. It's asking, is the action itself fair, just, and correct by external standards? The proverb is saying you absolutely need both. One without the other doesn't cut it. Okay, and to wrap it all up, the proverb grounds this entire evaluation in something totally concrete with one last word. And that word is palalo, literally his work or his deed. So in the end, it all comes down to this. It's not about personality or what you were thinking or your intentions. It's about the tangible result, the verifiable outcome. What did you actually produce or accomplish? That's the final piece of evidence. Whew, okay, so we've totally dismantled this proverb, piece by piece. Now, let's put it all back together, because when we do, you'll see it's not just a nice little saying, it's an incredibly powerful framework. So here it is, the complete framework. First, universality. This rule applies to everyone, no exceptions, not even the young. Second, it's all about evidence. A person is known by the whole pattern of their actions over time. Third, this leads to revelation. Character isn't something we assign, it reveals itself through that behavior. And finally, the whole thing is measured by the dual test. An action has to be internally pure and externally right. You gotta have both.
So now, let's look at that English translation one more time. It just lands differently now, doesn't it? It has so much more weight. It's not just a folksy saying anymore, it's a complete system for understanding how character actually works.
And that, of course, brings us to the final, most important question. Because this ancient wisdom, it's not really about judging other people. It's a mirror. It forces every single one of us to look at our own deeds, our own work, our own patterns. So the question isn't just for some kid in an old proverb. It's for you, and it's for me. What story are our actions telling right now? What are they making known about who we truly are?